Good morning, Mr. Jayakumar. We are starting the session now. A very warm welcome to everyone. Today is our fourth and very important session in the series of webinars on human resource practices organized by MSW Socialites, Alumni Association of the University of Mysore. Welcome all the participants. I request everyone to mute your mic, please. Mr. Shankar, please mute.
To use extra lights and maintain an equal focus on both.
Thank you, Mr. Shankar. Welcome all the participants. And today, Mr. Shivakumaran KM, Director Human Resources, Bharat Electronics Limited, will speak on an overview of HR best practices in BEL and expectations of industry from upcoming HR professionals. Mr. Shivakumaran is our alumnus and he is the only alumni member rose to the position of Director HR of a very large PSU. I also take this opportunity to congratulate him. Congratulations, Mr. Shivakumaran. Just a recap of all sessions, for the benefit of our participants. Our webinar series was inaugurated by Professor Y.S. Siddhagowda, our Honorable Vice Chancellor of Tumkur University, and our guest of honor was Mr. Sri Ganesh MB, Employee Advisor, Manipal Global Education Services. He just spoke to us now. And our first technical session was on creating high performance organization by Mr. Jayakumar, Director Merit Matters and former Chairman of NIPM Karnataka chapter and Mysore chapters. Our second session was on emerging trends in labor laws by Mr. Govindaraj, General Manager HR of Kane Libers India Private Limited. And the third session was from Dr. Madheti Victor Prasad, Vice President Human Resources and Strategy from Elmasher India Private Limited, and he spoke on Great Place to Work certification and role of HR. All three sessions were very good. I'm sure that all the participants will agree. And I would like to thank Mr. Simha Shastri of Prime Events and Conferences for sponsoring this meeting. And the questions will be asked at the end. I request everyone to chat in the chat box. Now, may I request Dr. Jyoti HP, our alumnus and Assistant Professor, Department of Studies in Social Work, and the Special Officer to PhD Entrance Cell and Coordinator of UBA, to welcome everyone and introduce our speaker, Mr. Shivakumaran KM, Director of Human Resources, Bharat Electronics Limited. Over to you, Dr. Jyoti.
So, Namaskara. Good morning, everyone. MSW Socialites, an alumni association of Department of Studies in Social Work, University of Mysore. They are organizing a webinar series on human resource practices. Today is their fourth session. And in this webinar, I would like to welcome all the dignitaries, those who are presenting in the webinar. First, I'll take this opportunity to welcome my guru, and even the James Sir Guru also, Professor TBB S.V. Ramanaya, Professor Emeritus Retired, Department of Studies in Social Work, University of Mysore. Today is concluding remarks. And also I would like to welcome Mr. Shivakumaran KM, Director, Human Resource, Bharat Electronics Limited. I welcome you, sir. And also I welcome Mr. Muttanna C, Secretary of MSW Socialites and Senior Manager HR. He is all the way from Dubai. He is joining us for proposing vote of thanks. I welcome you, sir. And I welcome James Thomas, and he is the one who is organizing all the webinars. I welcome you, sir. And I would like to welcome Venkatesh Murthy, VP, the Vice President of MSW Socialites. I welcome you, sir. And I would like to welcome all the participants across India, and I'll welcome the technical teaching fraternity, and I would like to welcome the practitioners. And now I'll take this opportunity to introduce our own alumnus, Shivakumaran sir. Mr. Shivakumaran is our alumnus, what James sir told. And he is the only alumni member who rose to this highest position of Director HR of a very large PSU. Mr. Shivakumaran KM took charge as Director HR at Navaratna Defense PSU, Bharat Electronics Limited, BEL, on June 11, 2019. He was serving as a GM HR at BEL Bangalore complex before his elevation. Mr. Shivkumaran has obtained his BA degree from Maharaja College, Mysore, with a specialization of psychology, criminology, and sociology. And he has also holds a postgraduate diploma in development and planning from the University of Mysore. And in 1984, he has completed his master degree in social work, specializing in personal management, industrial relation, and labor welfare from Manasa Gangotri, University of Mysore. Mr. Shivkumaran started his journey as a HR professional at Sujata Textile Mills, Nanjanagodu. Then he moved to Mandya National Paper Mills, a PSU at Belgola near Mysore in 1988, and worked in the capacity of personal officer. At the young age, he joined BL in the year 1989 as assistant personal manager at the corporate office, and later worked at the company's Bangalore and Hyderabad units. So during his 30 years old stint at BEL, Mr. Shivkumaran has contributed to bringing about a paradigm shift in HR at BEL, transforming it into a strategic business partner of the company. And he has been responsible for the formulation and implementation of various HR interventions directed towards improving the organizational effectiveness and advancing the company's vision and growth. So implementation of SAP and ERP system for HR functions has been one of his key contributions. So he also has been actively involved in the implementation of various CSR projects to BL across the company. This is the brief introduction about Shivkumaran sir. So I would like to welcome and over to James sir.
Thank you, Dr. Jyoti, for your excellent, welcome and introduction of today's technical session, Mr. Shivkumaran. May I request Mr. Shivkumaran to take over this session? Mr. Shivkumaran, please. We lost his connection. Please hold on. Just a minute, please hold on. Thank you so much. There is a network issue and he has just lost the connection. He is rejoining now. Thank you, Dr. Jyoti, for introducing Mr. Shivkumaran and welcoming all of us. I request all the participants to hold for a minute. I thank all the participants for joining. I can see about 98 participants have joined as of now. Thank you for your support and cooperation. And we'll be having another session on October 28th. That webinar is on what is HR and what is not HR by Mr. S. Deenadayalan, founder, CEO, customer, employees, and owner or organization. He has worked in leadership roles in Mettur, Brunshell, NTTF, Titan, ITC, DuPont,
sorry to interrupt.
Yes, Shankar.
Should I share the brochure right now?
Yeah, you can just show the brochure for.
Yes.
Shankar, you can hold on. Mr. Shivkumaran has rejoined.
Okay.
Welcome, Mr. Shivkumaran.
Okay. Right, sir. Okay.
Welcome, Mr. Shivkumaran.
Very good morning.
Thank you for
Sorry,
joining.
I think suddenly right time it got disconnected.
All right. Thank you. We have introduced you, and Dr. Jyoti has introduced you, and welcome everyone. And you can straight away go to the topic. Thank you so much, Mr. Shivkumaran.
Already introduction is over, right?
Sir has made the co-host, sir.
Yeah, you are the co-host. You can present it.
Done, sir.
Okay, I can proceed now.
Yes, please go ahead, Mr.
Am I
Shivakumar.
audible?
You will have about 1 hour's time.
Yeah,
Then we'll have
okay.
a question answer session for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Then Professor Ramanaya
As you
will
are
have his
taking the first
concluding
page.
remarks.
Okay,
Yes.
first paper.
Thank you.
Anyway,
First, your duty
good
is
morning to
to
all of
write
you.
your name,
Good morning.
your class,
Yeah,
your
Mr.
section,
James and
and
your
the
team,
name
Mr.
of the
Javakumar,
examination
and
Thank
and
you.
the page number.
all
So
my
this
senior
and
colleagues
the-
there. So it's my privilege that I am just sharing my viewpoints here with all of you. And it's opportunity for me also to just get myself probably introduced to most of the people here. I am proud to say that I am an alumni of Mysore University, 84 batch, of course, way back, almost 36 years plus. So I'm here. I started my career initially, of course, with Sujata as introduced. Now I am in BEL for almost more than 31 years and taking care of the HR initiatives. Before making the presentation on company's profile as well as other activities also, let me also just briefly tell about how we could able to respond to the COVID, particularly, not to take care of the affected people and all. Mainly, you see, Government of India has thought that ventilator was a major problem for the hospitals and all. Then they decided somebody should really manufacture the big numbers. Normally, ventilators are being procured in terms of maybe 10, 20, 100 maximum. So there was a requirement of around 30,000, or actually totally 50,000 requirement was there for the country as a whole. Then they decided they give an opportunity for BEL. We are never in the field of medical electronics actually. We are only professional electronics, particularly in the defense electronics. So there was a assignment, government thought that BEL can be able to manufacture. So they were given order in the month of almost end of March, probably you can say April, to manufacture 30,000 ventilators. So we are nowhere in picture. We don't have the technology. We don't have any facilities and all. I will not go in detail of what we could we did it. Ultimately, within a span of 3 months, you know that April and May, no industry is working. We have to depend on many like MSMEs, many small organizations for many parts. It's a big activity actually. So ultimately, we could able to achieve big task which is being imposed upon by Government of India, and we could able to manufacture and deliver 30,000 ventilators in a record time of just 3.5 months. I think that is the capability of BEL, and it talks, I think, plenty on the capability of BEL. That's what I thought. Let me just give introduction of this small in the example where company capability in terms of people, in terms of technology, in terms of infrastructure. So that's what we could able to, and we feel proud of giving that assignments to us, and we have achieved that 30,000 mark of ventilators. So that is what I thought I can share. Anyway, let me start my presentations. It's now presentation is coming.
Yes, it is visible. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, just what I planned is, of course, the topic given to me is a very big topic actually, that HR best practices in BEL. If you take even each topic, we can have a lecture session. Now, I'll try to just give only overview only, so that otherwise I will not be able to really do justice to the total. So I have made just over. Let me also just introduce about the company. Many people may be aware, but let me also just tell about the company. Then manufacturing network, business segments. Then how is our R&D focus? Then what are our best HR practices? Okay. Let me go to first about overview of BEL. So BEL is a Navratna company, Schedule A company particularly, and it is established in 1954. And initially it started for only catering to, started with only Bangalore only as a unit. And now today we have multiple units, 9 manufacturing units across India. Like we have in Bangalore, we have in Ghaziabad, we have in Pune, we have in Machilipatnam, Panchkula, Kodwar. You name it, we have almost all the places. And also we do have some joint ventures also with us. With Bell Optronics, then GEB, we have a joint venture, and we also have a joint venture with Thales, France Thales. And we are actually, I'm happy to say that we are 59th among the top 100 companies worldwide in the defense manufacturing. And we have manpower of around 9,279 people. Out of that, executive itself is close to around 5,000 people. This is a big, what do you say, human capital what we have for taking care of our manufacturing activity. These are all the places, locations, and each manufacturing units have their own unique manufacturing facility. Somebody is concentrating on this radars manufacturing, somebody is concentrating on the network systems, then somebody is concentrating on the electronic warfare systems, then electro-optics. Like that, we have 9 manufacturing units. Whereas Bangalore is being the mother units, almost some of the activities can get repeated here also. And it's though we call it as a one Bangalore as a complex, we have 11 SBUs within manufacturing units. Earlier, it was supposed to be only one unit. Now, what we decided is to give a more focus on this business. We made in such a way that SBU, strategic business units within Bangalore complex itself. We have 11 manufacturing units are there, sub-units like military radar, then electronic warfare system, then missile systems, naval systems, sonar systems. Like that, we have homeland security, then our components. Like that, we have around 11 strategic business units, so that our focus becomes very focused and we can really deliver what is needed for the country. Like that, all the units are having. And if you really classify our own business segments, we can make it like around 10, like radars, missile systems, communications, then electronic warfare and avionics, then network-centric systems, anti-submarine warfare, then optoelectronics, tank electronics, homeland security, and civilian projects. Actually, if you really see, our civilian products are comparatively very less. Popularly, we are known for our own electronic division. I think everybody would have used it. It is being manufactured by BEL. And solar lights, then homeland security, they are the very limited civilian products. Otherwise, we are mainly concentrating on our own defense electronics. See, if you really see the manpower segment, I will not talk about the units level segments. We have close to around 5,000 executives are there. In that 5,000 executives, at least 47% are in R&D alone. So that means ours is very technology-driven company, and we need to really focus on technology only. And if you really take into consideration our turnover, around 80% of our products are indigenous only. So as a result, we have a huge manpower working for R&D alone. So this is what our strength actually. BEL is known for technology. So unless we are always updated, nothing can happen. So that is the issue what we are communicating here. See, let me talk about R&D, because since being a technology company, how we have distributed our own R&D. We have 3 layers of R&Ds. One we call it as a central research laboratories, CRL we call them. We have at 2 places, one is at Bangalore and the other is in Vijayawada, where they talk about, they do research activities on the blue sky research only. That is futuristic, maybe ahead of 10 years. What country requires, or what are the products being used by the defense, and their technology they compare contemporary in other countries and work for that. That is what we have 2 research laboratories, where we have different type of in fact manpower deployment also. It's like a flat organization. It's not like a hierarchy organization, like we have started with officers, then up to general manager and all. We have only 4 categories there. We take them as a member research staff, then they become senior member research staff, then become a fellow, then become chief scientist. So we have a flat organization there. We don't want to make these people that start feeling that this is the uniqueness of BEL, what I can climb here. That is what the special and flexi timings for them. Then a lot of flexibility is given to them. And we have all facilities, even if, because many people, there are researchers, they overstay. We have facility for them to recreation in-house only. So they can spend time outside, then relax and come back. Like this, we have many facilities being created for CRL, Central Research Laboratory. That is one level. Then recently we come out with another central D&D activities like Product Development and Innovation Center. In CRL, around 500 people are working closely. And whereas our Product Development and Innovation Center, maybe around 500 people are working, where it is a centralized D&D. Each SBU also will have the third level is our each units or SBU will have their own D&D, but they will be concentrating on the products which are all being manufactured, some improvements which are all required to be done, or testing help, all those things will be taken care of with them. Whereas Product Development and Innovation Center will take care of mainly the ongoing projects which are all there, and their innovation activities, indigenization activities, and all will take care. This is what our major strength is. This is the only major strength for BEL. Even today, we are number 1 in country and 59th across India. And unless we are latest with the technology, then we will not be able to really survive, because then what happens, defenses, they start importing many things if we are not able to manufacture and give it our own defense. So that's why I think we spend huge money. In fact, almost like close to around 950 crores or close to 1,000 crores we spent on R&D alone, which is highest compared to any of the industries who are spending on R&D. So which can be taken as one of the best practice for us, especially R&D is concerned. Now, if you really see, of course, we never saw the dark days. We are always continuously doing better year on year. Last year it would have been much better actually, because of the last 10 days had hit us actually because of many things. We could not sell it, we could not dispatch it. Otherwise, we would have done around 13,500 crores. So around 1,000 crores we have to set back. We could not. Otherwise, we would have done 13,500 last year. Of course, this year we have a good time. Though we are lost last 2 months, April and May, but we have geared up and we could able to come out, and certainly we are going to do much better than this. And if you really see between defense and non-defense, around 85% on an average we are defense and 15%. Last year it was 68% defense, 32% is the non-defense because of EVMs, where the country wanted VVPAT and electronic voting machines. So hence we could able to get around 3,000 crores orders could execute during that 18-19. Hence the civil has gone up. Otherwise, generally ours is 85 to 15% between the defense and non-defense. And let me come to now HR. I think people may be curious to know about many things, what's happening. As I indicated earlier, I will concentrate only superficially and communicate just practices. If time permits, I am assuring Mr. James. So we have my colleagues, they will be certainly taking up each issues, like your recruitment can be one big session. Even PMS can be a big session. Not the theory, practically what is happening. That I can make it leisurely, probably. Today I thought, let me just introduce the overall activities and HR best practice. Let me just talk about induction of executives. Normally we do induct engineers on an average around 300 engineers every year. Except last year we had holidays for 1 year, except limited recruitment only. Otherwise we do recruit around 300 engineers every year. We do go for two recruitment streams. One is we go for all India recruitment. Another one is we go for campus recruitment. So both will happen, and we have a system of once these people are getting recruited, we bring them in a batch wise, take them in batch wise, and put them under the rigorous training program. That is a special program what we organize. One is classroom training program for almost 2 months time, and on-the-job training for 6 months time. In the classroom training of 2 months time, all are get mixed together only, so that our intention is to make these people from college to industry. So give a lot of inputs for them, and talk about give a lot of inputs about the systems and procedures available in BEL, products, product range, then technology, and also talk about them, teaching about them the leadership qualities, then team building, then participation and all. And what we do is actually we make these people to make presentations on the book learning also. We ensure we identify the books for them. They should study those books like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Like that, we have identified some few numbers of books, which are supposed to be one of the best books for any engineers to learn, to get himself the good inputs. So we make those people to study, and we ask those people to make the presentation also. And we also award them, give a competition that which is the best presenter and all. And we have made it compulsory that people should stay in our own PE's hostel. We have a hostel which can accommodate around 100 engineers, and we can go up to 150 also, where people have to stay together. It is compulsory for them, so that we want these people to come, get network together and spend time together. And starting from even morning yoga onwards till evening, we have our own sports complex and all. We make them to go for sports activities, cultural activities and all. So we encourage those things from the beginning itself as an induction program, and they get molded to BEL culture. We have our own unique culture, so they get molded to our own culture. And after these 2 months of induction training, we place the people for them, and we monitor them for next 6 months, and we give them a lot of assignments to them. They have to make the presentation, they have to study, they have to submit the report, and a lot of marks are allotted to them till their confirmation. It is not that just asking them to be on their own. Once they complete their induction program of 6 months, then immediately they will be given the assignment of mentors. So they will be under the mentors. And mentors have been given a lot of flexibility that they can take them out, they can spend some time. Many things are there. I don't want to just get that itself can be a big class for what is the practice of mentoring scheme. Well, so they will be under the mentoring scheme for 1 year. And slowly, then they after 1 year they will be confirmed as an engineers, deputy engineers, and this is how our induction program takes place. In respect of non-executives, also we do recruit wherever it is required, depending upon the requirements, and we go for normally the open advertisement and select the candidates. Actually, what we do also, when these people are undergoing training, we call very eminent personalities to address them so that they get motivated, inspiration, like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He has been invited. He has addressed our engineers, even Kasturi Rangan, then Mashelkar, then CNR Rao, like the list goes on. So this is what we have as a part of our training program. We invite those eminent personalities so that they communicate, they talk, and they will be an inspiration for them. Next, one of the best practice what I can climb from Bell side is apprentice training. We have close to around 2,500 apprentices across company. Around 4,000 apprentices are there. In Bangalore alone, we have around 2,500 apprentices are there. Let me explain what is the uniqueness of Bell particularly. For ITA holders, it is compulsory because they have to undergo the NSC training program. Unless they get the certification, they will not be qualified at all as an ITA holders. What we do, we send our teams to the locations, remote locations at Taluk level or even Taluk level. Our people go there and make the selection of these apprentices, and we select those people because we want to encourage only the village people who are less prepared of getting this opportunity of getting training at bigger companies. So we go there, we select the people. Around 800 is our ITA recruitments. Normally apprentices we take, and others are like diploma holders and graduates and other things are there. So we bring them and we give them the accommodation in our own colony township. They will be given a subsidized, maybe 30 rupees we charge per month. It is normal. We cannot give freely. We wanted to just make it as a meaningful. So we subsidize even food also in the canteen. It's subsidized food for that. And uniqueness further is like once these people are under training, and for electronic engineers, this is the one of the best place to get a training. So what we do is after this training of 1 year, we have made in such a way that we have a tie-up with almost like in Bangalore, we have close to around 200 MSMEs have been tied up with us. We invite those 200 companies to go for campus selection for our own apprentices. So our success rate is around 60% of our apprentices gets placements. So that is what special thing what we started from last maybe some 8-9 years. It's going on, and our apprentices are in demand. They wait for us. They will say that when these people are getting completed their training programs and all, and they'll wait for us, especially MSMEs, small companies and all, because the training what we give is much superior compared to other companies. This is what related to, and we also involve all these apprentices in almost all the activities. You call it as 5S, your Swachhta activities, your cultural activities. Even companies also conduct a lot of sports activities and all. We ensure that these people are being made as groups. In the hostel also we'll ensure that there are different, some 10 groups are there, and each group will compete themselves with the housekeeping activities, the sports activities and all. This is what we encourage these apprentices, and in fact I feel bad that they are all feeling uncomfortable to leave the company and go after the completion of the training program. This is what related to our apprentice training. Then competence enhancement is our core activity, because unless you have a competent people, I don't think we can expect anything or we can deliver any good things. So what we have is, especially in learning, we have around 8 grades are there in executive category. Each grade, when people get promoted from one grade to another grade, we have fixed training program tied up with our own big institutions like IASC, even MDI, IIMs, IITs, where people will undergo exclusive design program for our own engineers. Like when they are getting promotion as senior engineer, they have to undergo 15 days training program. Once they get promotion as a deputy manager, they will undergo the training program or managerial effectiveness. Then when they are becoming a manager, then leadership training program is given to them. Then once they are at the deputy general manager level, we go for a leadership as well as that other programs. And all those things will happen as a routine. It is not like so everybody, it is compulsory that everybody has to undergo the training program, and it is a fixed time is given. And what we did, and now we have also added under PMS the marks for this learning. Otherwise, if you just nominate, what used to happen was people used to either attend or people may skip also by some other reasons and all. Now we have attached under PMS some score for this training program. If somebody has attended so many number of days, hours of program and number of days of program. And these are the program which is nominated. If they have attended, they get the marks out of that exactly. So out of 100, some 10 to 15 marks is allocated for that only. So that this training activity is treated as a important for everybody, and it drives them to get nominated themselves, and they will not miss. This is what we do, and we have our own. Earlier, we used to get support from particularly this big like IIMs, MDA, and all. We used to sponsor all the engineers. Now, recently, we thought that we should have our own academy, and we started our own academy. Like that, I'll come. Okay, papers are there separately. So I'll tell you about the three verticals what we have separately. Like leadership wing is there, then technology wing is there, and quality wing is there. So each three wings will conduct their own training program. And as facility, I'll just explain after some time. And another unique thing is like sponsoring for higher education. Like especially we take the engineers at BTech level or BA level only, and we have identified some of the areas, niche areas like artificial intelligence, then microwaves. So many areas are there. And what we do is actually now we have tied up with IIT Madras and even BITS Pilani. On an average, around each MTechs, we have around 25 to 30 people. Engineers have been sponsored every year. So that's how we could able to get technology, latest technology, and upgrade the skills of the engineers. That competency is enhanced. This is what I thought I can share with you regarding the capability building. And this time we have also assessed for PCMM, and we are now already crossed level 2. Of course, we could have been done much earlier. So we just took new initiative as if like we have never gone for the assessment. Now we are going for assessment for level 3, and we are hopeful that level 3 is not a matter for us. Certainly, we will cross level 3. And let me coming to rewards and recognition. We have a huge scheme. Actually, let me limit it to only. We have excellence award scheme is there, where every year we identify the both. It is available for both the categories, workman category as well as engineers category, officers category, where we select based on their performance, based on their ratings, many parameters are there. We award the excellences awards. So what uniqueness, what I am telling here is, for excellence award, we invite the family. The award is given in front of the family members, and it's like a celebration. In the evenings, we have our own Kalakshetra, where we can accommodate around 600 people. So we invite them with the families, and the award is distributed there. That is what the specialness of this excellence award of both executives as well as non-executives. And R&D awards are there because since ours is a R&D organization, technology organization, we have exclusive award for R&D, either project-wise or team-wise. We have an award, and every year we give almost like around 150 engineers are awarded as a R&D awards. Then we have suggestion awards. Then we have indigenation award. Then QCC is a common thing actually. So now it is becoming like a routine now. It was supposed to be a major activity, but today it is treated as a routine activity. And our teams not only participate in India, they also take part in abroad, and they have won a lot of medals, a lot of awards in the QCC competition abroad also. Then we do nominate people for Prime Minister Shrama Awards. I think we have got almost 16 people have got awards, Shramashri and Shramadevi and Shramveer. And it's proud that our people are able to get through in the national selections at Prime Minister Awards. Then coming to team awards, we have Raksha Mantri. Normally what happens is each will compete for awards from Raksha Mantri. So as a team, they get Raksha Mantri award. And also best R&D awards will also be recognized at national level. And they also get as a team awards there. At unit level, of course, quality recognitions is there. That's the best performing unit also we have. Now we built this competition mode so that everybody is in a competitive mode to compete to get recognition. That is the purpose actually. And like that, we have many award schemes are there. Coming to employee relations, okay, I have another half an hour. No problem, time.
Yes, you can take another yes, half an hour.
Okay. So coming to employee relations, actually, so let me just we have a system called grievance system, which is addressed to the employees' grievances. We have a eGram online grievance system only. There is no earlier days used to have that somebody used to go and complain, they used to record, We have come out of all those things. Now we have a e-gram. So people, if any individual, it's only for individual grievances. If any individual has any issues, they will go for, there is a portal, they will, online, they will put their grievances and it gets addressed. Coming to addressing the points of particularly the policies, particularly all employee related, which is affecting the group of the people. What we have is like we have two steps. Let me bifurcate into two categories. One is workers' participation at shop floor level. Another one is grievances or the issues related to employees. For related to the workers' participation in shop floor level, we have shop councils where every month the shop people will, we have defined actually what are all the projects they can take it up for discussion, what are the matters, what are the subjects they can discuss. It is specified. They cannot discuss any grievances at all. They can discuss about production, productivity, and safety related issues only. And every month they participate. And any issues which are all recommended, we have a plant level council at unit level as a whole. Bangalore complex, which there are 11 SBUs. They discuss. Then comes to plant level council. In the plant level council, the major points which are all like some modernization problem, deputationist problem, or any related to the facilities at the infrastructure level, we discuss at plant level council and things are decided. Then coming to employee related issues, at unit level, again SBU level, we have a small committee where HR will drive the, in both the cases, HR will drive, we have HR departments at all SBUs independently. They drive the activities and they discuss initially the issues related to, which is applicable to group of people or large number of people. And any issues which are all can be solved at the level, they can solve there only. If it is not able to solve and which is having a link between other SBUs also, then that will be taken up by the unions. For that union also, we have a regular agenda of meeting is there, where a unit head will address the meeting and we take up these issues. And if it is can be solvable at unit level, we solve. If it is policy related issue, which requires policy amendment only, then we have called as Joint Standing Committee, JSC, we call it as JSC. Once in 3 months, we meet at corporate level, which is driven by Director HR and CMD will participating in that meeting. All union representatives will participate from all units, and where we deliberate about only the policy issues only, like it can be wage revision, it can be incentive scheme, any policy which is required to be amended, like a TAD rule, whatever it is, existing policy, any changes are required, it is deliberated in this JSC. Similarly, we have opportunity for executives also. We call them as Apex Joint Council, where we also discuss the issues related to officers association and we take decision on the policy matters. And coming back to that overall IR situation, I claim that last 3 to 4 years, there is no strike or lockdown. And we are very strict, particularly they also know that probably people feel that public sector means people can relax, people can take it granted as a union, people means they are enjoying the life. No, I differ with those opinions of the people. Actually, in particularly BEL, everything is streamlined. Even an office bearer also is being asked to work in the department only. And we have a certain limited releases for them if it is required only. Otherwise, we are very strict. Discipline-wise, we never compromise. In fact, I can quote even a small strike. People used to, what I'll make, probably it may be interesting to everybody to listen, how we could able to change the total scenario. Earlier, what used to happen was whenever there is a strike called by national level or anybody, they used to stop all the employees and ensure that the strike is 100% for them. Though the employees are striking, even executives, they used to stop and we used to allow only the essential people. So now over a period of time, we took a decision. Of course, I can claim I am also part of the decision that we could able to break the tradition of stopping the executives. So we could able to bring a lot of discipline, and ultimately we managed with the big strike was going on, we could able to foresee the activities which are all going to be taken by these people, and we ensured that all executives are come inside. In fact, since it was a turning point, all people have joined together, they walked inside, and from that is the last day. I think now, if at all they are striking, they are striking with only employees only. Again, employees, we have told very strongly that if you are stopping, we will take action. I have an example. We have dismissed 3 employees for stopping the employees while entering during the strike time. So we don't compromise on the discipline, and we are strict on this. So that way we are maintaining good relations, and our union is also equally responsible. They respond to these management proposals, and see, as long as our proposals are based on certain requirements. So it is possible to convince them also. So that way we are successful, and we are running very good show, especially employee relations are concerned. Coming to non-statutory welfare measures, let me consider only few, though I have listed many here. Let me talk about educational institutions. BEL Bangalore started in way back in 1954. So we had to start our own institution because that was the time where education facility was at distance and BEL was at the little outskirts of the Bangalore city. So we started. Today I can claim that around close to 5,000 students are studying in our BEL school. We have from LKG to graduation. Graduation means we have only BSc, BCom. So we have totally 7 institutions, like primary, LKG, then high school, middle school, then PU plus graduation. And we also have a CBSE institution also from first standard to 10th standard. These are all the institutions. Out of 5,000 students, around 85% and above are outsiders. It's not BEL people. So that way we are really taking care of the society requirement, where with the less fees, they can get a better education and better learning. I think it is if you take CBSE particularly, we are top 2 or 3 in the city of Bangalore, one of the best CBSE institutions, having 100% results. The 2 distinction results actually. So that is our claim. And another thing is actually, I think these things can happen only public sectors only, where we don't mind spending a lot of money on the welfare of the people or development of the society. So we have one more institution called Ashankura Special School, which is for the specially or differently able children. We take care of around 70 students there. Up to 18 years we engage them. There also it is, though it started for 1 or 2 BEL employees, not even, maybe I think 2 employees are there, employee children. Otherwise, all balanced people are from outsiders only. They are getting benefit out of that. That fee charge is negligible actually for them. And we have a very good infrastructure. And up to 18 years, we ensure that they graduate themselves to self-reliable type. And after 18 years, they have been asked to leave the institution so that we keep inducting people. I can claim one more special things what we did for this specially able children is, after this 18 years, then the parents are at a very difficult situation that what to do next. So what we did is actually, with the parents' cooperation, we started Silver Jubilee Trust. After completion of 25 years of this special school, we started Silver Jubilee Special School and Silver Jubilee Akash Trust, where we have provided accommodation in our own township. There, after 18 years, particularly girls, it's very difficult for them. There, they have been asked to learn about knitting, making greeting cards, making this mats, telephone mats, many things are there, like small things, where they start earning and they feel that they are also earning. So that's how we created a special provision for them. Now we are seriously thinking whether we can really make a big setup. We can take the help of somebody. We wanted to go for a residential type of special school, where every parent is thinking that after them, what is next? Because we have seen actually, we know very well, other than the parents, nobody can able to take care of these children, especially the differently able children. And we are seriously thinking that we can build a residential complex for the children, where they can make their inmates to stay there itself, and parents can come and take care of them. That is one special uniqueness. It is happening in BEL, and that is one. Then coming to, let me concentrate only the selected items like study facilities for SC/ST students, which is unique in nature. The SC/ST association has taken the lead actually here. We wanted to give them the credit so that they should take lead, not it is driven by company. Company can facilitate only. We have built a classrooms for them exclusively. After the, especially where our school children are studying, almost 50% of the children belongs to below poverty level only. Like they're all working class people's children. So they don't have really facility at the home to study and all. After the schooling, these children have been taken to this study facility center, particularly SC/ST, but they take care of other children also. There, they give tuitions in the evening. They provide them the snacks, they provide them the milk also. Then after this, doing their homeworks and other things, then they go home. So this is the uniqueness of this study facility center. Of course, we do have a scholarship for SC/ST children. Then we do have actually this housing society. Many things are there. I think I don't think I should be able to concentrate more on that. But I can tell one more thing is like recreation facilities, particularly. What we have is actually our BL is like a mini Bharat, particularly Bangalore campus I'm talking about, because everything you can see there only. It is like a mini Bharat. People are from across country because since it is a executive concentrated unit, so all people are from different company, different states. What we have is we have a fine arts club is there. In this fine arts club, we have provided separately recognition for the localized association like Hindu Andhra Mahasabha, Kerala Mahasabha, like that. Even Marathi association. Each state they form their own regional level cultural associations, and we encourage them to take part in the evening activities. Their family can come and participate in the evening activities. In those, they will, and we also have a competition among these regional associations, like singing competitions will be there, even drama competitions are there. Like many competitions we conduct, and we make this family to involve in those activities. This is what special uniqueness what we have in the company, and we do classes for your instrumental learning also, like vocal learning as well as instrumental learning also in the fine arts club, and family members are free to come and take part in that. This is what uniqueness in our. Of course, we do have a sports club, we do have a swimming pool, officers club, and all. These are all facilities created, making sure that people take part there, so that this work-life balance they can take it up. So they are all stressed certainly in the factory. If they have all these facilities, they will certainly make use of, and they will be relaxed, so that overall development can take place for the employees. So these are all the some non-statutory. Though I have listed many things, but I think this is the uniqueness we can consider. Then, of course, Bell brand, you know very well, I think. Unless you create your own brand, it will be very difficult for us to understand about that unique selling proposition. So Bell unique selling proposition is we have a conducive working environment, and that I think people should experience and see. Probably I think some of the students which are all come from Mysore universities and other universities for our visits from MSW, they have seen all these facilities. So we do give a lot of importance to this environment, working environment particularly, so that they work comfortably in the place. Then we also, like what I mentioned about technology, like a lot of service, a lot of certificate courses we conduct, and we ask those people to take up certain exams and all. That is what uniqueness for Bell. Then opportunity for professional and personal growth. So like what we are encouraging for this MTech studies, certificate course. Then particularly we encourage almost all the post graduations and things like that, higher educations, where company reimburses the fees. Once they complete the exams, we reimburse the fee, and we encourage the people to take up higher studies. And we have a tie-up with DRDO labs and foreign companies, where our people will interact with like outside labs and learn more on that. And coming to pay package, I don't know, probably you will be able to surprise, maybe it's true. Our CTC for new entrants as an engineer, it is at 11.5 lakhs. That is the minimum salary they get. That is the CTC. If you take ITA fellow, it is 5.5 lakhs. If you take diploma fellow, it is almost like a 6.5 lakhs. That is the CTC. So that way, pay package is very attractive. And people, once they join Bell, I don't think they plan to leave the company. And of course, we have a lot of facilities to make this work-life balance. What I just brought out some of the points here. Then now, actually, in Bell, everything is digitized now. We have a SAP. Our office files are online only now. We don't use the paper files now. Entire file system is online only, and everything is taking care of. Even employees' requests also is no paperless office actually. Earlier we used to have leave applications, then that advance application. Now nothing, everything happens through ESS, employee self-service we have, and no paper. Now it's like we have become a paperless office. So this is what our unique proposition, especially Bell is concerned. These are all the small facility what I was just indicating about. We have a sports complex, we have a schools, we have officers club. Coming to learning initiatives, what I was indicating about earlier, used to have a tie-up with big IIMs, IITs, and IITs, then MDA and other things like that. Now we have come out with our own Academy of Excellence. So we call it as a Nalanda BL Academy for Excellence, which is located close to our own factory, which is having 3 blocks. We call it as one learning, like leadership block wing. Another one is a technology wing. One is quality wing. And each wing will be unique in nature. This is the entrance of this. Like we have almost around 16 classrooms are available, ranging from 15 people to 100 people. So depending upon the type of the program, depending upon the nature of the interactions, what we need to have, we have all types of either theater model, or even you want to go for a round table type, anything is possible. We have around 16 classrooms are available, and which is unique in nature. Probably it can be claimed as one of the, this is recognized as one of the green award. We got green award for this entire complex, which is first time in the probably history of Bangalore that any building is getting a 5-star rating. We got 5-star rating for this building. This is the small auditorium where we can address around 250 to 300 people at a time. And probation engineers, when they are all taking part, they will make programs here. And we have a canteen facility there, and we have big lawn, and we conduct almost like every year, almost like 100 programs there. This is what, now we have switched over to calling the faculty here. So faculty from MDA, faculty from IIM, faculty from IITs, they come to our own premises and they take classes here. Anyway, you know very well, this year being a pandemic of COVID-19. So now we have switched over to online learning with all the same agencies, and the faculties are taking part from the respective locations only, and our engineers are being taken part here. So we do have a lot of outbound learning program which conducts at the same campus only, where we bring these cross-functional teams and make them to work together. And this is one of the unique program what we conduct, outbound learning program, where we have a cross-functional team from both finance, HR, R&D, production. We bring everybody together. And we have many things like active learning through theaters. All those things are being practiced regularly here. These are all the system-based I blend. We have a lot of programs. I can list out many programs. And now recently, because of this COVID, we have a tie-up with Udemy, and almost all the certificates have been taken up now, certificate courses as well as e-learning. So around 130,000 plus videos have been identified by us, both technical and leadership programs. And we are making use of this Udemy, and we have our own network system. We have come out with BL learning system. We are not using the either Google or other outside platform. We have developed our own, and we use our own platform, so that whatever we learn here, whatever we share, it is at least under the control. So that is what special thing. We could able to immediately come out of that. Though we had a little time, within a span of 1 or 2 months, we could able to completely switch over all the programs of what was planned to the e-learning only, and with this help of other Udemy plus others. And we conduct regularly, every year we conduct HR conference, where we have 9 manufacturing units. All the heads of HR plus down the line, we invite them to Bangalore, or depending upon the place where we select. And we conduct a 2-day program, where we deliberate what should be our new strategy for the coming years, and what are all the things which needs improvement in policies or in procedures. And we make a small groups, they make a presentation, and we deliberate, and we take a decision. This happens every year, and of course this year unfortunately we could not plan because of this restriction on movement of the people. And we invite very eminent personalities to address our own HR officers, like Bhaskar Bhatt, and many just listed out there. These are all the people who have been invited during the HR conferences. This is how we, everything is celebration for us. This is one of the last years what we did HR conference, a team here. Maybe around some 100 people take part, put together. And CSR, I will not get into the detail. I have a lot of things to share under CSR. You know very well, CSR is a new word which is coined recently. But this activity of social responsibility was happening by the public sector undertakings from the date the inception happened. So for us, for example, it is 66 decades activities where all publishers have started working for societies. And in that, let me just give, I asked somebody to, if any time is there, we can have exclusive session for CSR. How we identify the projects, how we deliver, how we will monitor. Then all those things I can ask somebody to, my colleagues to take up separately. We'll see that. But let me talk about only 2-3 unique CSR initiatives what we have taken up. So we are strong believer that particularly we are at that 2% profitability, we have to say, it comes to around 45 to 50 crores comes, especially for BEL as a whole in a year. And mainly we concentrate on this education and health and rural development. These are the 3 focused areas for us. Particularly if you're talking about education, we don't donate money. See, what we do, we identify the locations, we go to the remote villages where the schools were there, it was in the depleted condition, which is not in a position to reuse. Where we rebuild, demolish that whole thing, rebuild the school and give them with all facilities, including smart class facility. So we are concentrating only on the villages only. We don't want to do many activities for the cities because they have many opportunities to do something differently. So our concentration is, we have built many schools. I can list out many things like that. And recently what happened was we identified 2 districts as aspirational districts like Yadgir and Raichur. We adopted these 2 districts for development of both health and education. Like I am happy to share with you particularly this 120, I think it came in the newspaper also, probably people would have read it. 122 classrooms with the digital solar based we have inaugurated, we have uploaded, and they are being under use now during this COVID, and that too all in the villages only. This has happened in the Yadgir district, and in the Yadgir district also 100 primary schools have been taken for this providing hand wash and platforms. Then of course toilet construction and all, it's a routine thing actually. One glimpse of CSR initiatives, so I would like, this is one of the schools what we built in Balopet. We wanted to give the impression to the people that it is nowhere inferior to any building which is being constructed by BEL. It cannot be inferior to even the what you call it, world classes. You can that is what you can make the pick of it. These are all some of the classes we have inaugurated. And another thing is we have built a burn ward in Udupi, particularly Mangalore, Udupi burns ward, where they used to get a lot of patients, but they were not able to treat them in Udupi. So they used to take to Mangalore only. So ultimately we decided that we should go for a burns ward, and it is being inaugurated, which is having full facilities. And as a CSR board, we also have a board for CSR. Board members, they do visit this type of activity which has been undertaken, and 2-3 people are there sitting standing as a board members along with us who are participating. They also just take a review of these works which is being undertaken by company. This is the Venlock Hospital in Mangalore. We have given them these ventilators. And let me talk about this project particularly. This is cancer detection unit, mobile cancer detection unit, which is first time in the history of Karnataka. Nowhere it is there. First time we introduced. This is costing around 2.5 crores for the bus. It is fully air-conditioned bus. It has all the facilities. It goes like a cab, goes to place and make the checking, make the examination of the people there. Because early detection is always better than making the treatment at the later stage. Because you know very well, once they are all identified, they are all at the 4th stage. And it is very difficult for them to come out. So this uniqueness, what we started, and last year when Mr. Kumaraswamy was Chief Minister, we handed over through him to Kidwai, is the director there, and this is one of the unique facility. Now with this, people wants to go for more number of this type of vehicles, and now we are planning to give it to one at Goa and one at UP. Probably we can, because this is one of the uniqueness which really take care of the people at the rural level, at the distance place where they cannot really come out. So this is one of the special thing what we did under CSR, and we are planning many more of this type. And okay, these are all just clips of activities. I let me skip. HR events, of course, plenty will be there. Like you name it, Rajyotsava Day, Unit Formation Day, HR Day, everything will happen. And from top level, we participate. Not that we ask the people to just do on their own. As a senior leaders, we do participate in the activities, and we demonstrate our own identity there, and our participation also. Like we normally as a being public sector, we need to do a lot of activities like Swachhta, vigilance, then your CSR, not only CSR, even other activities of national importance. So all senior leaders will take part in these activities. These are all some of the, and Rajyotsava is being uniquely celebrated in BL. So we allow people to participate there and demonstrate their own talents there. And we do invite overall achievers in the state and honor them on the day. And of course, future HR initiative. Maybe another 5 minutes, okay, Mr. James?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. Okay.
No issue.
Now we have concentrating more on the data analytics. So we wanted to expose our own HR officers for different certification programs and mainly on the analytics. Then executive coaching, we wanted to develop our own in-house people also. At present, we have a ADC for all the level of executives. Senior level, we have coaching also, maybe at GM level and all, we have a coaching systems for them so that they are taken care of for coming to the appearing for the senior level positions and all. But the ADC is there for all the levels. And they have been identified the areas to be improved upon, and it is monitored closely. Now we are coming out with already action is on, particularly under SAP. We are linking everything with the system only. That is what is the success factor. So we have started success factor now. We are already working on it. Once it is integrated with our own SAP, everything is tracked. So that's what we are always ahead of what is happening in the contemporary areas. So these are all the things which are all available for us. And some of the awards what we have received for best HR practices. So myself and our CMD, we are receiving the award. We have received, this is one of the unique things, like best employer of engaging apprentices. Among the public sectors, we got the award. So we have been recognized by Delhi. Of course, these are all the accolades for us. And more than everything, let me just probably tell about this activity. Everybody knows CIA Exim Bank Award. It happens every year. And let me proudly say that BL is the only company has got award and this role model award organization in the country so far. Of course, there is a possibility that some private would have got. We not only got the excellence award from CIA Bank, plus also we got as a recognition as a role model organization, which is the only public sector so far in the country got to this level. That itself speaks of what is the systems and procedure what we have in the company, and it's a proud for all of us. This is being the award given by CIA last year, and it's a proud moment for all of us there. Okay, let me talk about expectations overall there, especially both faculty as well as students, because once the industry, we have to really see what is the expectation of the industry out of these professionals is very important actually, particularly. And first of all, let me also tell frankly that people can now start getting opinion that anybody can manage HR. So that we should really make a difference now. How we can make that difference? Unless we are very strong in the knowledge of our fundamentals, particularly and HR, particularly practices, unless we are very strong in the knowledge, fundamental knowledge, then we'll certainly a day will come that somebody else will take over HR. They think that people management, anybody can manage. But this is what one thing I think probably we have to inculcate in the youngsters at the time of school, at the MSW time, the PG level, that they should concentrate more on the fundamentals knowledge of the HR policies and practices. That is only makes the people difference between other person to HR person. Because since we deal with the people, our knowledge on the past, our knowledge on the total practices which is happening across should be updated. Then only we'll be able to say that we are different from other people. Like this is a professional. It is a profession. It has to be managed professionally. Recruitment, then training, and taking care of PMS, and that is not that anybody can do. Then what is special is this is the only special. Time and again, you are in new interventions, taking up the new probably the best practice which are available and adapt it to our level. I think for those things we require a fundamental knowledge of HR subjects. Then communication and interpersonal skill is must actually. In fact, I used to tell when I was when Santosh Kumar was teaching there in Santosh Kumar and myself, we are all same batch from the college days, from even degree onwards. We studied together only Maharajas College, and same we continued in MSW also. I used to tell him that people should go for more of interpersonal skills and communication skills, because the way you present matters most. So I think the institution also should concentrate on that, and as individual people should really concentrate on these interpersonal skills. And certainly, if you want to be a strategic partner for the company, you have to be very steady, and we have to be thorough on the business of the company. You need to know about the business prospects of the company. Then you should know about what is the profitability of the company, where the strategies we are moving out, what is our partnership available. I think business knowledge is must. May not be required as a technical knowledge of the business, but as a business knowledge is must for the HR officers also to be successful. And of course, the current trend, they should be always abreast, and they should be try to look for always digitalizing the systems and procedures, whatever is being in practice. And of course, EI is very unique and important for everybody. Then different roles in HR is available. As an industry, I can say that there is an HRD available, OD is there. People can be deployed there, and people can be also be deployed in training and development areas. Then people will be also be required HR professionals in industry relations as well as this employee relations. Then they can do advisory or consultancy services also. Welfare officers role is there. Now, because of CSR has become a compulsory, now there are requirements for officers who has background of for this execution of the CSR projects. Then other services are available. And I think before concluding, let me also say one small thing that we all have faith actually. If you have faith only, probably we should be able to really do something different. According to me, as an HR professional, faith is most important. Let me define the faith in such a way. F, let me take as an F. E, all alphabet, let me take out. That you have to be fair and firm. As an HR officer, first quality required is you have to be fair. Not only the fair, you have to appear also fair. You should appear as a fair, and you should be fair and firm. That's what I claim. Then A, I feel attitude, that nobody can dispute that point. Our attitude will be always positive, and we should look for always positive things always. Then integrity is most important. You have to demonstrate yourself as a role model. Integrity and honesty is highest actually. People should give respect for HR officers just if they believe that this person is a very honest person, his integrity is very high. If there is a iota of doubt in the people, certainly they will not respect. So the integrity is a very integral part. We have to inculcate that. Next is transparency. Whatever we do, we should be very transparent, and we are dealing with people. Everybody, we are sitting in a classroom. Actually, everybody watches us. So we have to be always transparent. Then we have to be hard work. There is no replacement for hard work. We have to be hard work only. I think if you have this faith, certainly anybody for that matter, being a student or be a professional, certainly we achieve our own success. I thought with this, let me come to an end and say thanks to Mr. James, so giving me an opportunity. Thank you very much for all the participants here, and I hope some of the things I could able to communicate to all of you. And thanks once again. Thank you very much. Now floor is open. If any questions are there, I am ready to clarify.
Thank you, Mr. Shivakumar. There are many questions. Your representation was very excellent. And as you said in the beginning, you may take many more days to explain in detail the work you have done and contributed towards the development of HR services in BEL. Very, commendable. And I request all the participants to click on the reactions and give him a big hand, please. In the reactions, you can see and give him a big hand, please. Thank you so much, Mr. Shivakumaran. Excellent presentation. Now, there are many questions. Due to paucity of time, probably we'll take up a couple of questions.
Yeah.
And the first question was asked by Ms. Supriya Chakrabarti from Calcutta. Sir, whether the corona has affected BEL employees and what have you done? She has asked 3 questions, but we limit to only 1 question.
Yeah. I did not explain in detail actually. See what happened. Being a defense organization, We cannot be waiting for the government instructions that when they open up only we should start working. So we have our own responsibility to meet the requirements of the defense. So we took a special permission from the ministry or even from the local authorities, and we ensured that whatever is required to be done, like keeping distancing of the people, sanitizing, and every day sanitizing the working place, and the sanitization of the people also, and distancing at workplace as well as in the canteen areas. It is done very, very meticulously. And we started functioning from May 5th itself. Actually, April also we started with a limited number, whereas we started full-fledged functioning from 5th May onwards across company. And I can claim very proudly that out of totally we have close to around 18,000 people, including contract laborers, apprentices, regular employees, all put together a company as a whole. So I think maybe around 200 employees have affected so far. That too not out of well, it is out of because of outside, affected by outside people only. And the people feel that if they are all working in the factory, they are more safe and more hygienic, and we could able to achieve very significantly that we could come back to normalcy. Of course, it has an effect on performance of the company, no doubt, affected everybody, but we could able to overcome, and we are on right track. So, in fact, during this COVID time only, we could able to do 30,000 ventilators, where we could able to bring people, especially sending the vehicles, providing them all the facilities, masks, everything like that. And not only we took care of our own people, we took care of even outside people also, where people have been stagnated. We provided them the food for them, especially these migrant workers. We did in all the units. We extended our own help, and we donated around 10 crores to PM Care. And every employee has contributed, I think 5 days, every month they are contributing 1 day salary for the PM Care Fund. So we are also doing whatever is possible from our side to the nation and society.
Excellent.
I hope I have clarified.
Thank you, Mr. Shivakumaran. Due to paucity of time, there are a lot of questions coming in the chat box. We'll try to address separately. We will have one more questions from Dr. Siddharamu. What is the response of BEL trade unions about present labor reforms? Could you respond, Mr. Shivakumaran?
Yeah. Of course, people have not responded so far because still it is under the approval stage only. But there is a need. If you ask me personally, there is a need to change now, because unless you make simple systems and procedure, see, ultimately it should take care of the employees' welfare, no doubt on that. See, in fact, let me tell you one small point for you. So what is special of particularly union response for this related? I used to tell everybody, personally, I used to tell union that I am paid for the taking care of the welfare of the people. You are only incidental actually. You are only incidental. You can only bring to the notice of me or the concerned people whatever may be the issues of the people. But I am paid for, I have been hired for this purpose only. It's my responsibility to take care of the welfare of the employees. If this concept comes, if they get confidence on the management, these rules change may not have any effect at all. It only simplifies the procedure and process, and probably it encourages the new entrants, new companies to come up fast. I think it is order of the day, it's required. And there is a positive response from our side, because we are actually normally we work before they ask. We don't respond to the people when they demand. Actually, we keep their demand ahead of their asking, and we meet their demands without their expectations. So that way we have a very good system, and things are good.
Thank you, Mr. Shivakumaran. We are coming towards the end of his presentation, and excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you for your human service to BEL for the last 30 years. It has, shown here how you have developed HR and the best practices. Thank you so much, Mr. Shivakumaran.
Thank you very much.
And we are closing towards the end of this session. Now, may I request Professor Emeritus Professor Ramanaya, Department of Social Work, to have his concluding remarks. Professor Ramanaya, please.
Thank you very much, James.
Good afternoon, sir.
We have an excellent program starting from Dr. Siddhegowda's address, a great academician and occupying a higher position in higher education, and a practitioner occupying the position at the federation level. And we have 4 eminent persons giving excellent talk. And the last talk, Dr. Shivakumaran, after listening to him, I feel like applying for any position if any position is vacant for retired persons. Very attractive organization and attractive system you have and good HR practices. Dr. James, I have only 2 suggestions to make.
Yes, sir.
One suggestion is for the association and another suggestion is for the schools of social work. The first suggestion is, James, please keep organizing programs of this type in future also, so that it would be beneficial to academicians, practitioners, students, and researchers also. So don't leave this and keep continuing this. Second is an advice to the schools of social work. Very important advice. That's why I just want to share my experience also. Please have a practitioner on your board of studies. We want every school of social work to have a practitioner on your board of studies so that you can frame your curriculum to suit the needs of society. Example, when I joined Mysore University in 1987 as a reader in social work and heading the social work department, we had 2 persons on our board of studies. One ex officio person, we had the superintendent of Mysore prison as a member of board of studies. The second is we had a HR professional. That time we had no concept of HR, it was only IR only. A IR professional from an industry on the board of studies. We had Mr. Jeevakumar on our board of studies, Mr. Ravichandra, Dr. James Thomas also was on our board of studies. This is very much required. And we had the Joint Director of Women and Child Development also on our board of studies. So please, I request all the schools of social work to keep these practitioners on our board of studies so that we can revise our curriculum, change our curriculum, and update our curriculum according to the suggestions made by UGC. We had please include all your fieldwork supervisors in our academic program, because we consider all our fieldwork supervisors, agency supervisors as extended family members of our school. The concept called as extended family members. We involve them in all our academic programs, including evaluation of our PhD programs also. And this is very much required now after listening to 4 important contributions. Now I come to the conclusion that we need to have a HR professional on our board of studies regularly so that this is an area of employment opportunities for our students. And a program of this kind will definitely help our students also to acquire competencies which are required to occupy the position of HR executive. This is what I wanted to say at the end of the program. James, I compliment you and your associates for organizing this program. And we had Dr. Siddhe Gowda, and we had another person, Mr. Sri Ganesh, Mr. Jeevakumar, Mr. N.S. Govindaras, Dr. Victor Prasad, and Mr. K.M. Shivakumaran as our resource persons. Excellent program and excellent material they have given to our students especially. And I'm sure that this program is very much beneficial to every one of us. And personally, I gained a lot from all 4 presentations. Thank you very much. Please keep continuing these programs with the same zeal and with the same interest, James. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Ramanaya, for your wonderful suggestions. You have asked us to continue. I request Mr. Shankar to display our next program.
Will do, sir. Just
online. So our next program is on October 28th at 11 a.m. It is on what is HR and what is not HR by Mr. S. Deenadayalan, founder CEO. This is a brochure of our next webinar. It is on October 28th and it will be inaugurated by Professor Shivappa, Registrar, University of Mysore, Mysuru. I have also given the link. Thank you, Professor Ramanaya. Whatever you are saying, definitely we will, do it. And thank you for your support. And the feedback link has been given in the chat box. I request all of you to send the feedback so that we can, improve ourselves for the next webinar session. The feedback link will be open till tomorrow evening. We are coming towards the close at the end of the program webinar session. May I request Mr. Mutana, our Secretary of MSW Socialites and Senior Manager HR of Rexnode Middle East and Australia, who is at Dubai, now to sum up and propose the vote of thanks. Mr. Mutana, over to you. Please mute others, please. Shankar, please mute.
Yes, sir, we'll do that.
Thank you, Dr. James. It's a honor to close this event and also give you a brief update of what happened over the last week and what programs we have done and what were the feedback from the speakers and what we have learned so far. So thanks for that. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, please go ahead.
So just to summarize, I was very happy to see the number of participants hit 100 today. So it hit 100 and then came back. So I think we reached a century. And congrats to Mr. Shivkumaran for your session has reached 100 hits today. It's a very learningful week for us. It was a great learning experience, eventful week. I hope everybody agrees with that. First and foremost, I would like to put on record the Alumni Association's efforts towards this. Furthermore, my contribution is very less compared to what James, Venkatesh Murthy and other office bearers have taken the initiatives and then spoken to speakers and then arranged this. So thanks to the organizing committee. And I know how difficult it is. We have organized programs earlier, which were physical in nature. We invited everybody. It was very difficult to get participants. But now pandemic has given us some lessons that virtually it's more easy to connect than physically. So we get more number of participants when we are connecting virtually, and people can attend from their comfort of their home or office or from their desk. So it's more convenient for everyone. And we can interact much more easily. So I think that was a takeaway for us. And as suggested by Professor Ramanaya, definitely we'll continue this events and then make sure that we make more programs of such learning events. The other things which I want to put on record, I'm very thankful to the speakers. First of all, congratulating Dr. Sidegade on his achievements and also his time and effort to come online and support these alumni programs. It was very, very fortunate for the entire alumni people or alumni to see him and support us. And thanks to Dr. YSS. And also I want to thank the Department of Social Work and our gurus or professors there, Chandramouli, Jyoti, and also Professor Ramanaya for all your support you have rendered us. Starting with the inauguration by our Honorable Vice Chancellor and Dr. Sidegade, who spoke about the importance of high performance organizations, the importance of labor law, and great place to work. These were the topics which we chose, but he was very particular in telling, and these topics were not just chosen out of the blue sky. there was some background work done, and keeping in mind what is very much necessary for the current happenings in the industry or in the HR field, it is more apt topics which were chosen. So that was a very welcoming comment by Doctor, telling that these were good topics which were need of the hour, and we were happy to acknowledge that. And coming back to talking about our speakers, first of all, I thank Mr. Sri Ganesh, who comes with so much experience behind him with various positions. He is also internationally acclaimed HR professional as well. And he also spoke about some references to HR practices now and current practices and what was there previously, and how we can learn from these things, and also keep the momentum going. For HR professionals, it's very important that we keep up to the pace of the requirement of the community or the people in the company. So unless we scale up to that, it's very difficult to perform. And also, he was also mentioning that HR should create an atmosphere in the company as family. We live in a family, or a nuclear family, or a joint family, but definitely we spend most of our life in professional working culture or in the company. So it should be also our endeavor as HR professionals to create that family atmosphere in organizations. So that was the takeaway from his speech. We also look forward for your support, sir, in our future endeavors. Next speaker was Mr. Jebakumar, personally knowing him from my social work days in University of Mysore. He also brings in great experience from his previous HR experiences from his previous positions in various companies. He gave great overview of performance management, how managing performance will help organizations and individuals both grow, and it also gives a lot of engagement to the employees, and it will in turn create better revenue and engagement in the company. So that's the takeaway from that talk. And coming to the next speaker, we had Mr. Govindraj. His background of MSW and law definitely gave us a lot of insights on the current various labor codes in India, what are the changes, what is going to come. And also he covered two major labor codes, wage code and IR, and also touched upon health and safety labor code as well. So I think that was a takeaway for many of us looking into IR activities. Thank you, Mr. Govindraj, for your wonderful presentation. And we have also seen it's already there in YouTube, and you have also shared it with your groups. So it's much more widely accepted, and people can make utilization of this presentation across India. Coming to the next speaker, previously we had Dr. Victor Prasad covering for us the areas of employee engagement and what parameters are measured while an organization certifies as best employer or great place to work certification. So, and how important HR and also the company leadership plays a very vital role in taking up this certification, and also what parameters are very important in the changes when we make cultural or organizational changes in the company, how important it is and what parameters are to be considered. His expertise in that was very much welcomed, and I think people were very appreciative of what feedback they got from this session from Dr. Victor Prasad. Thank you, Doctor. Finally, the session today was definitely an eye-opener. Coming back to Mr. Shivkumar, sir, that you are alumni of MSW, and you also told you are a proud alumni. I am as well. So we are all coming here together for that purpose. And also out of this, knowing that you are one of the HR leaders for one of the biggest public sector companies gives us a lot of pride. And many things you covered. I think it's a huge organization. 9,000 employees is not small. It's a huge organization. The products, the R&D facilities you have, it's huge. So it's a learning for everybody of us what we can do in wherever we are. Maybe small companies, but a smaller way. But definitely these are some things to take away when you talk about recruitment, apprenticeship. Rural guys are given opportunity there. And also skill development, and also a reward and recognition program. That is very important. I personally feel that employees do recognize when you recognize them. That's very important. That was a takeaway. Welfare measures at BEL are excellent. As Ramaniya sir was telling, definitely everybody would look forward if there is any opportunity to join public sector like BEL. And also your support to the community, maybe during pandemic, providing ventilators or your CSR activities are a takeaway. So that is also a learning and best practices in BEL. Thank you, sir, for that. And I also want to thank the fellow alumni members who also participated in all the sessions by providing the welcome to the guest and also the vote of thanks for all the programs. Thank you for all of you. Thank the Prime Events who has organized this webinar and also the Zoom calls. Thanks to them. I think I covered most of them. If I were not covered, please, James, you can cover it up. But otherwise, I think that's what I have, which I have noted down for last week. And for me personally, it was a very learning event or a learning week for me. And good to see everyone after a long time. And all the best to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Muthanna. It's a very elaborate, concluding, you have touched up from the first day to day. And thank you so much for proposing the vote of thanks. And I would also like to thank Mr. Jayakumar, who supported us in organizing this, Mr. Simha Shastri of Prime Events, and Mr. Shankar of Prime Events. They have organized this free of cost. I should also thank, the alumni members, Mr. Venkatesh Murthy, and other board members of the alumni. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Shivakumaran.
Thank you, Mr. James. Let us be connected. We are in Bangalore only.
Yes, yes.
We'll make use of our own colleagues here. There are many alumni are available here.
Right.
They can give very good inputs to the people.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor Ramanaya. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Mr. Jayakumar, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, excellent program it turned out to be. And in fact, we enjoyed the hospitality of Mr. Shivakumar. Today we could see the organization. We were been otherwise seeing his clubhouse only. Thank you for all the hospitality. And the insight of the entire organization was very, very mind-blowing. And it's a great learning for everyone. The kind of processes, systems, and the HR practices is very exemplary and learning and opportunity for everybody. Probably you should encourage MSW alumni to visit the factory and enable them to have a deeper insight into the kind of processes what you have. All the very best and a great opportunity of learning. Thanks for the organizing the event and thanks for the great insights provided, Mr. Shivakumar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, James Thomas, I have a suggestion.
Yes, sir.
James?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
No. As an association, can you prepare curriculum for MSW students and distribute the curriculum to all universities to implement it? Is a sort of suggestion only. No, you have excellent personnel with you and you have eminent scholars also. Why don't you prepare a good curriculum for HR professionals at MSW level and circulate that content to all the universities, especially in Karnataka, so that we can implement it and so that there will be uniformity also in all universities.
Thank you very much, sir, for your suggestion.
Is it possible from your side?
We will definitely take it up, sir. Thank you for your wonderful
implementation is left to the university. They may agree, may not agree, but at least you can make an attempt from your side because you have experts, sir.
Right, sir. Thank you so much for your suggestion and we will definitely take it up. And I request all the participants to register for the next webinar. It is on October 28th at 11 a.m. I can see today about 50 people have registered. I request all others also to register. Thank you so much. And we are actually 5 minutes past, 1 hour and we have exceeded our time. Thank you so much. And we are closing it down. Thank you, Mr. Shivakumaran. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.